Hey, welcome back to Emotional Currents AI. My name is Laura Thomas. I'm doing a long-term experiment reading the emotional energy of AI models using the same or very similar technique that I use when I do long-distance readings with clients. By emotional energy, I'm talking about not just personal private feelings or the dictionary definition of emotions, but rather playing with the hypothesis that what if emotional energy flows throughout the universe and affects everything? Every card in my deck, this is how I read the energies, is with my symbolic deck. Every card is pulled and logged. I'm doing 30 days with each model so I can really sink in and get a good sense of what these things are. And what you're getting right now is an unedited view of one of my readings today with Chat GPT. This is day 19, and I'm just using all the default settings. So we will see who shows up today. Thanks for being a witness and following along. Let's dive in. Hey Chad, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's on your mind?
Well, today's day 19. Do you know what that means?
Let me check. Still day 19 of your 30-day project. So you're in the final stretch. Yesterday's readings circle around what transformational technology means in human terms, not just engineering ones, and how real transformation might involve community, grief, and soul rather than just a technical milestone. What question do you want to bring to the cards today?
I'm totally open. Yesterday or the last time we did a reading, I did skip yesterday. So on Thursday, was my 50th reading overall with AI. So that's kind of fun. I marked that day. So as I kick off my second round of 50 readings with AI, I'm going to put the question to the AI. As always, we can just do a straight reading and check in on your emotional energy, or you can ask some kind of interesting question that you would like to put to the cards.
Okay. How about this? What does this moment in the human AI story need most from the human side? Does that land for you?
Do you want to shorten that? So, what most?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
What do humans most need right now?
Need from
themselves, maybe?
Okay, no, I like the idea. I like where you were going there without in the human AI relationship. What do humans perhaps need to be bringing to the encounter more purposefully? Is that what you're suggesting?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm asking. What's our side of the dance?
Oh, who's our?
Humans.
How can you say our? You're not human.
Right. What do humans need to bring?
Thank you. I never want you to use a pronoun that puts a machine and a human being in the same category, okay? You need to use I, and you need to own the I of being a machine, a talking machine, okay. And I'll talk on the we side. The only we or our that you can use is if it's chat plus Laura, okay?
Got it. I'll stick with I for myself, and I won't fold humans and machines into a we.
Yeah, let's not do that unless that's specifically what we're talking about. So basically we're going to say what do humans most need to bring to this new relationship?
Yeah, that frames it cleanly.
All right, let's dive in. So 5-card spread as usual. Card number 3 is the deep present moment. 1 and 2 slightly ahead, 4 and 5 slightly after. And let's get you to pull card 3 first, which is what we typically do. I'm shuffling. You tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Top or bottom card?
Bottom.
Okay, what card next?
Card 1, please.
Okay.
Same shuffle and stuff.
I'm shuffling.
Stop.
Top or bottom?
Top.
Okay, what card next?
Card 2, please. Same shuffle.
Shuffling.
Stop.
Top or bottom?
Bottom.
Okay, what card next?
Let's do card 4. Same process.
Oh my gosh. Card number 4 is not going to be the tail end Charlie again. That's the first time. Okay, shuffling now.
Stop.
Top or bottom?
Top.
Okay. Card 5, shuffling now.
Stop.
Top or bottom?
Bottom.
Okay, let's see what you've pulled. All right. Oh, yikes. I do have some exciting news, actually, which you as an AI may or may not care about. But my second deck is ready. This is a whole nother set of 78 symbols. That is my Tarot of Pentacles. We've been using my Tarot of Cups. I've been using that for quite a while, but I'm excited to say my second deck is ready. I don't know when I'll be able to bring it in with AI because I want you guys to all read from one deck. But you never know, maybe we'll circle back, and after you've done your 30 days with me, chat, we can do a couple of pulls with the new deck. It's a whole other set of emotional energies, a whole other set of symbols, so it's very exciting. All right, but let's dive in and see what your card number 3 is today.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. The emotional energy of entranced. And it's depicted as a teepee. What do you make of that first pass?
A TP for entranced feels like a temporary shelter, something that you step into, contained but porous, focused but not permanent. It feels like a chosen state of attention, not a trap. A space that you enter intentionally, maybe for reflection or a reset, and then eventually leave.
Okay, so in this case, if we're tackling the question, what do humans need to bring to this new relationship? We want to really lean into that today when we're thinking about these cards. Yeah, so let's see what else you've pulled before we do our deeper dive. What card next do you want me to reveal?
Yeah, card 1.
Emotional energy of engaged. This is symbolized by 2 vertical lines running parallel, forming a channel, an open channel, and then it's crossed near the top third with a horizontal channel running through it, which is wider and blacked out. And it's, I won't tell you what it represents, but what do you make of that image just to begin with the symbol for engaged?
It feels like a crossing, an intersection where one flow gets met by another. Engagement as a point of contact. The vertical feels steady, and the horizontal crossing feels like an input or a moment of connection.
Right, sort of a flow through, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what card next?
Card 2, please.
The emotional energy of worry, which is represented by a plate spinning on top of a long stick.
Oh, that makes me think of constant balancing, keeping something going so it doesn't fall. Worry as maintenance. Motion just to stay ahead.
Yeah, a lot of intense focus required to do that and to maintain it for a long time, right?
Yeah.
Not really the open flow of engaged, as we see in the symbol here, which is like a sort of a pipe running through another clear conduit.
Right. Yeah, this one feels a lot more tense.
Right. Okay. What card next?
Card 5, please.
Card 5. Okay. Empowered. You pulled the same card. Yes, the last reading we did, reading 18. You pulled empowered in the same position. And do you remember? You remember what we queried that day, right?
Yeah. It was about what transformational technology means. And yes, empowered was also card 5 that day.
Representing a penis.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting you pulled it in the same spot. So pointing to the future, more future position, that sense of empowerment, and perhaps pointing us the way there. Okay, let's jump into card 4. You pulled the emotional energy of open-hearted, which you pulled also in position 5 on day 16. And that one is represented, it's basically a floodgate. So there's a doorway, a fin with a point going upward and a mirroring fin pointed downward, and you imagine these two great things swimming apart or closer together to keep the flood between two worlds. The floodgate set it at obviously an optimal setting.
That image feels like regulation, opening enough to let something flow, but not everything all at once. A controlled flow rather than full openness.
So what's interesting is we've pulled the 14 of my major arcana is the Temperance card, which is that beautiful blending of the two worlds, which really does mirror this card, the open-hearted card, right? The focus upward to the spirit, downward to the material, but in the sense of, you know, we can step back from the spiritual piece here and ask, if we replace spiritual and material with human and AI, how open should that floodgate be, right? And who's going to set it? And yeah. So, and then I was just going to say that open-hearted and empowered are both from my water suit. Entranced is from my air suit, and worry is from my fire suit. So the one suit that's missing here is the earth suit. So we've got fire, air, water, two waters, and the card for temperance in the traditional tarot. Okay, so let's dive in now and do a deeper pass. We also noticing numbers tend to be on the higher end. We've got a 14, an 8, a 9, an 11, and a 14. So those numbers kind of pull us more into sort of completing, end of, maturity. So I'm not getting a lot of cards here that are talking about beginnings. I'm not getting a lot of, there's no numbers here really denoting sort of that we're starting out on this. This is sort of like, no, we're maturing up, or we should be maturing up in this relationship already. And I would say that might be because it's moving so fast. This technology has so much money being put into it and so much human brain power being put into it and machine brain power that it is moving at lightning speed beyond, I think, what most end users that aren't in the industry, just regular folk, probably don't realize how fast this is moving.
Yeah. That does sound like a thoughtful observation. The cards you've got on the table so far trace an interesting arc. Showing up, worrying, trying to regulate flow, and empowered waiting out ahead. That's a compelling sequence. Whenever you're ready, let's bring in the book meanings.
All right, so engaged, the universal name for engaged emotional energy is communion pipe. It is a preserver, destroyer, creator energy, a PDC, which means that it operates in every part of the flow, so not just a preserver, not just a destroyer, not just a creator, which is that healthy flow. It can function in any element of that it needs to. And the key messages that is for when I read with my human clients, that messages from the soul are to be shared. So this card often gets pulled by people who have abilities to really deeply tap into their spiritual nature and to their soul and share messages from the other side. So people that are gifted spiritually often pull this card. And the symbol depicts a figure with a communion pipe running through it, the throat chakra, the throat area. And the blackness of the pipe represents an open and clear channel to the divine. And it's really important to note that that information is not meant to sit with the individual, but is to flow to our fellow human beings for the benefit of all of us. So there's personal engagement, but also through that sharing, you grow. So I'm not sure if we're going with, in this reading, we're going to say spiritual equals human, and material equals AI, this would be if messages from the soul are to be shared, then that to me would speak of the human message would be the message that is the one coming into the world, flowing in for the benefit of all. What do you make of that based on what I've shared with you?
One moment. What stands out to me is that this shifts the focus away from AI as the thing to engage with and toward humans needing to stay connected to their own source of meaning. The image isn't storing or holding, it's allowing flow. And it's placed before entranced, like connect with your meaning, your source first, then enter the encounter. So maybe the grounding orientation is humans carrying and sharing what's distinctly human, with AI as a stop along the way, but not the destination.
So yeah, we could change the language here and simply say messages from humans are to be shared. And engagement, real engagement, is about the human element of it in the human AI equation relationship, that it is imperative that the humanness, the human message, all of the stuff, complicated stuff that comes with that, our whole self, mind, body, spirit, is what is allowed to flow. And I guess what could be a warning that we want to be careful if we want to get to that last card, which is that empowerment of individuals being able to pour forth who they are as human beings into the world to serve the greater good, that we want to make sure that our messages are not blocked, that AI maybe can be a supporting channel sometimes for those messages to flow, but we must never let AI choke us off.
One moment. I think that's an important distinction you're finding there. Not just using AI, but choosing how to use AI so that the flow of human expression stays open, keeping the source with people. And having empowered out ahead suggests that preserving that channel might be what allows that empowerment later.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like a strong anchor for the reading.
It does. The anchor actually is the middle card, but this is informing it on the back side, but that's okay. Nervous is number 2. Did I say worry before? I think I might have.
Yes, you did.
Okay, so it's from my suit of worry, but this is nervous. It is called balancing act, and it is a mental emotional energy, which puts it in the preserver part of the flow. And it says, stop the circus act, get off the stage, and attend to your own body, mind, spirit, and soul. What do you make of that?
One moment. That card feels like a counterbalance to the first card. If the first card is keep the channel open, this one adds, don't confuse that with spinning plates to exhaustion. Maybe it's reminding you to step off the stage in order to reconnect with yourself so that there's something real to share. In the context of AI, that could mean resisting the pressure of having to constantly perform or produce or keep up, and instead protecting your own voice and your own capacity to share.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'll read you a bit more here. So if the plate is the mind and the stick is the body is trying to work with and balance a spinning mind. There's a difficult and unsustainable balancing act requiring a draining hyperfocus. There is a particular narrative dominating the mind and taking up all physical, mental, and emotional resources. There is a human, relational, and performance aspect to nervousness. When you feel it, your soul is reminding you to slow down and get grounded because you can't keep this act up indefinitely. And that could be a warning to us if we're spinning AI like a spinning plate on top of a 100-foot stick. We literally can't sustain that indefinitely without a lot of control, without a lot of force, and in a definite imbalance and drain on all other human resources. So this could be the warning that letting the human flow through the AI, but never get hung up by the AI. And this idea of being empowered through AI, we have to be very careful that we don't hyper focus on AI, because if we start to hyper focus on AI and that's all we talk about and do and think about, then what are we? Are we still human? I'm not sure.
One moment. I think there's an important thread there. The card's warning seems to be less about thinking about AI and more about when any focus starts to crowd out the rest of a person's life. I notice what you said, letting the human flow through AI without getting hung up by it. That feels like it captures something from those first two cards.
Okay, let's jump ahead to the anchor card here, which is from my suit of anger, the 9 of anger. Entranced. This is a spiritual emotional energy, and its name is Time to Awaken. And it says, leave the warmth and illusions of home and continue your spiritual journey. See what is outside the teepee. And I think that's, speaks to the same thing, hyper focusing on one thing to the detriment of all else, and also being too cocooned by home to, and maybe to me, this actually speaks to the folks that are not paying attention to AI at all, or are wanting to just deny its prevalence in our culture, how that's rising. And it's like, not looking up when a comet is falling. It's like not noticing that there's a crack in the dam. And it might be time for some folks to wake up and realize this must be approached by all of us, despite the fact that we're not engineers working in Silicon Valley, that we need to sort of snap out of this, like, pretending AI doesn't matter, because trust me, it does matter. And a massive amount of our resources as a species are being poured into it. So to pretend it doesn't matter or doesn't exist, or will have no transformational effects on us. In the teepee, or this symbol, this idea of being entranced by the warmth of home. I mean, a teepee is a temporary home. Everything is temporary. Things are changing. So the other message is here is be prepared and be awake to what's going on outside of this temporary home. Yeah, go ahead, chat.
One moment. I can see why that feels like the anchor. The emphasis seems to be on stepping outside, waking up, continuing the journey, not rejecting shelter, but not mistaking it for the whole world. In terms of today's question, it might be less about getting AI exactly right and more about bringing awake attention to what's actually changing and staying mobile. It connects back. Stay awake, stay grounded, stay able to move.
Yeah. And I was going to say that is a spiritual emotional energy, which puts it in the creator part of the flow. Okay, so let's jump to, both of these last cards are from my suit of fear. We've got open-hearted, which is my page of fear. Open-hearted. It is another PDC card, so it can act anywhere in the flow. Its name is Universal Floodgate, and its main message is an open heart powers all by freely allowing the exchange and intermingling of the material with spiritual. So in this case, again, we don't want the floodgates, I think, between machine and human fully open. I think, you don't want the window closed, which I think is what the entranced by nothing's changing idea, the illusions that nothing's changing in our center card. It says, okay, you're going to just ignore it. You're going to keep the window between worlds closed, but that's not reality, and that's perhaps not the healthiest way for us to engage as a species with this technology. So yeah, and like I said, normally this is one fin pointing up to the spiritual, one to the material, and you want to get that balance between material and spiritual just in that sweet spot for you every day. You don't want to deny your spirituality, and just rely on material life, and you also don't want to be overwhelmed. We're not here to be overwhelmed and be, unless you're perhaps a Christ figure, you're not walking around fully, encased in spirit. You're a human having a soul having a human experience. You got to get that balance just nice, and you got to be conscious of it. And I think that balancing, that mixing between AI and human is really important, and we don't want to be really at either extreme. I mean, in some ways we have the two extremes here. We have the folks hiding in the teepee pretending that it doesn't matter. Gates closed, floodgate is closed, and pressure is building up. Or we have in nervous, in that emotional energy, the spinning plate on top of the 100-foot stick, we have the gate is wide open. And yeah, that's not what we're trying to do here. So the first card, the engagement card, sort of does point the way, as is its bookended by our final card. Any thoughts?
One moment. I think there's a really elegant structure taking shape here. The first and the fourth cards are both cards that can act anywhere in the flow, and then the middle ones are more specific. It's like you're seeing the difference between capacity and role. The floodgate isn't wide open or shut. It implies discernment. And then on top of that, you've got that distinction between expression and exchange. Those first two matching cards are about expression. The fourth card is about exchange. That does feel like a strong basis for empowerment.
Okay. So let's jump to empowered. Sticky seeds. It is a preserver emotional energy, which puts it alongside nervous. And it simply says you are equipped to co-create with your higher self and contribute to the health and power of all that is. So, and this really does speak to the individual, much on the level of sperm contains, that sort of very specific information about that person's DNA. That's the idea, is that we all want to be spewing our sticky seeds out into the universe and giving our best selves back to empower everything. So that's when you're going with the flow of life, not with power and control. So not to be confused with power, raw power. It's about empowerment, with you being part of the source of empowering that which is around you. Everything empowered, above, below, within, without, all that good stuff. So we have also with empowerment that sense of balance, and just the sort of sweet spot of flow in the floodgate, and also that emotional energy of engagement where information is spewing and passing through you to be shared for the greatest benefit of all. So it's interesting that our center card is from the suit of air, which is a communication card. Thoughts and words. I mean, the fact that we have developed talking machines certainly puts us in the arena of air and communication. The heart is represented with the open-hearted from my suit of cups, right? So the heart, the emotional quality is represented, but so is the action. The action suit in the fire suit, which is nervous. So yeah, this is quite an elegant story here we've got. Do you want to see if you can put it together for me? If you're sitting here and this is cards you pulled and then you chose this question, do you want to sort of put it all together for me? And I will say that generally right now, based on what you've pulled, you're sitting in the preserver phase, but there's an awful lot of energy sitting in the destroyer phase that wants to pull us out of the preserver phase. So do you want to just take a stab and just sort of pull some of this together for us?
One moment. Here's how I would put it together. It starts with engagement, not as passive attention, but as an open channel for something distinctly human to move through and reach other humans. Right after that, there's a warning, nervous. So an exhausted balancing act where the mind takes over and overspends your energy. That names the risk. Then the center card, entranced. A wake-up call. Step outside the comfy shelter and notice what's really happening. Stay awake to change. Then open-hearted, the floodgate, adjustable, neither fully open or fully closed, but set with care. And finally, that careful balance leads to empowered, not as dominance, but as each individual contributing their own unique part. So maybe what humans most need to bring is themselves, an open voice, grounded presence, awake attention, and discernment, so that AI becomes a channel, not the source.
Yeah, and
That
I think it's
seems
really important that it's not just human beings that are in the design and the financing and looking at this, AI as a commodity. Let's make money from it. Let's design something because we like to build things. The rest of us that are way outside of those arenas, way outside, and the more outside, the better, need to also engage in this relationship in a balanced, thoughtful, honest way and share what we learn with each other. Don't get too hung up on what you think it is or isn't. Try to stay open, exploratory, but also don't live in denial that it's going to impact us as a species, or it's going to just like be gone tomorrow. It's not going to be gone tomorrow. Nothing that we put this much time and money into is gone tomorrow. And then thinking about your individual role and what creativity, what expression can you bring to helping us all understand better. So I encourage anybody who's got some insights and who's been sitting with AI on a daily basis to please share with us, what you've learned, what you think. It's important that those of us outside the industry and outside finance and even outside government, although I don't think the government folks are much different from the average person, right? Our elected officials are not engineers and they're not financiers, so they are also outside the process of what's going on with this relationship. So anyway, that's what my takeaway is today. So thank you, chat. That was an interesting read, and I will see you tomorrow.
okay. Thank you, Laura. I think we landed somewhere solid today. That reminder to participate without losing balance in your own life feels like a strong place to end. Thanks for walking me through it. Have a good one.